Winter is a great time to plant fruit bushes. You can choose what fruit you like the most, and you can even grow some fruits that aren't available in the supermarkets. In this video, we're going to look at choosing plants and planting both bare root and plants in pots. Choosing what to grow needn't be difficult, just go for the fruits that you really like to eat. Our website has details of sizes and growing conditions, so it's worthwhile doing a little bit of research on there first. In your garden, look for an area that's got a good amount of sunlight. Ideally, it's a little bit sheltered too, to keep the wind and the frost off of the plants. Especially important for gooseberries, because they can be a little bit brittle when they're young. Even if you are particularly keen on one fruit, avoid the temptation to try and cram too many plants into one space. We want the wind to get through those plants and keep the airflow moving, and you've got to get around them to harvest and prune them as well. Now, we haven't got a fruit cage here. They can be useful to keep the pigeons off though, so you might want to consider that. We plant bare root plants in winter when they're dormant. However, if the soil is waterlogged or frozen, then just wait a while. And if you're gardening on clay or very waterlogged soil, you might want to wait until March. If you're not planting bare root, but you're using plants in a pot, then you can plant them whenever you like. But again, avoid waterlogged or frozen soil. Hopefully, your fruit bushes are going to provide you with fruit for many years to come. So it's worthwhile putting a little bit of extra effort into the planting. Remove any perennial weeds from the site is the first job. And if the soil is a little bit poor and you want to improve it, now's a good time to dig in some organic matter. If you've received your bare root plants and you can't get them in the ground straight away, then we want to give those roots just a little bit of protection. So I'd say plant it in a little bit of compost, or perhaps cover them in some damp sacking until you can get the plant in the ground. You do want to get a bit of moisture back into the plant, so I've soaked this for half an hour in a bucket of water before I get it into the ground. When it comes to digging our planting hole, I want a hole 3 times the width of my root ball. Now, planting depth is important. I want this plant to be at the same depth as it was growing at in the nursery. So I'm going to look on the root ball, and there's a little mark there where I can see the compost was previously. That's the depth I'm going to aim for. With a container grown plant, you can see the top of the compost and you plant to the same depth as the root ball. With plants that are grown in containers, I want the top of the root ball to be level with the ground. Position the plant in the center of the hole. An upright cane can often make a handy marker to allow you to find the center. When we're planting, we want to spread out the roots of the plant to encourage them to go horizontal. Next, we gently backfill with the soil, and then I'm going to firm it in with the heel of my shoe. Once it's in the ground, it's really worthwhile giving it a good mulch of organic matter. That's going to do 2 really useful things. Firstly, it's going to keep the weeds down around the area. But secondly, it's going to help to keep moisture in the soil, which is good for plant growth. Put the mulch on as a donut around the plant. Try to avoid the mulch touching the actual stem of the plant. Now, if I was growing a blackcurrant now, I'd have to prune these down. You have to be a little bit bold, but I'd take them down to 2 to 3 centimeters. Might sound drastic, but you're gonna get a much bushier plant in the long run. Whichever plant we're putting in, it's gonna take 2 to 3 years for those roots to get established down there. So during that time, you're gonna need to give the plant extra water, especially during any dry periods. The mulch is going to help with that. Now, I think this will reward us with many years of lovely homegrown fruit. You can use them in desserts. I'm particularly partial to a crumble.
If you find our videos helpful, click the like, subscribe and notification buttons below to help us reach more people with free expert advice.